Okay, we're gonna do a little I can't remember who it was or which video it was, but somebody here recently on one of the last videos asked how the crawler was coming. So I figured since this has been a rain week and most of what I've been doing is trying to get caught up on stuff around the house, it'd be a good time to sneak this in. 'Cause tomorrow, Lord willing, we're gonna be going back to working ground. So, anyhow, last time we saw this, the bell housing was all apart, clutch was out. We saw that nasty, unrecognizable hunk of rust that was the clutch. Dad took that down to South Bend clutch. There was absolutely nothing they could do with it. There was no saving it. So they ended up getting him. I don't think it was brand. I think the clutch plate is brand new, and they got a good reman pressure plate for it, and then surfaced flywheel, and it's got a new pilot bearing now, and all that fun stuff. So, brand spanking for all intents and purposes, brand spanking new clutch assembly. The old one was scrap. It no longer exists. So brand new clutch. Obviously, new fenders are mounted. Fuel tanks in. Seat is mounted, and cushions and everything are on it. He already put his new decals on. These are factory correct, what the decals are supposed to look like. I found it funny how that looks an awful lot like an Oliver shield. Which, it was also around this time period where that talk was going on between Oliver and Case about a possible merger that never came to fruition, which would have been interesting to see how things would have went if that would have happened. But I think Sherry Schaefer wrote an article about that several years ago. So anyhow, fender's on. That's on. New fuel tank is all plumbed in. He made a new fuel line. New fuel pump is mounted. That is a correct, that's what the fuel pump is supposed to be, supposed to look like. That is a correct fuel pump for this. Obviously, new drive shaft reman with new universals. Both yokes are brand new. Clutch assembly, or the clutch lever, he remachined it, rebushed it, got that all tightened back up. New spring, new pins, all new bolts in the frame and everything to tighten everything back up, because this thing had basically been shaking itself apart as Springer. Well, no, this doesn't even have, it's got leaf spring suspension, but it's not a rocker like a Cat or I think Cat was pretty much. Did Alice do the rocker? I know Cleat Track didn't. At least on the smaller crawlers. So anyhow, for all intents and purposes, zero suspension crawler. They just kind of beat the crap out of themselves on hard ground. So yeah, that's basically where it's at. He went through, serviced the engine. The engine's already fresh oil, fresh filter. It takes the same filter as, if I remember right, the T300 is the same as a 60, so we actually already had a bunch of these laying around. I can't remember if that's for the 60 or for the 70. One of the two. New fan belt, all that stuff, but that part should have already been done. So, basically at this point, I think his next step was to get the floor pan put back in, and then once that's in, set the dash on. I believe his plan is to get a remote valve plumbed into it. For the time being, his ultimate goal, I think he wants to find a 3-point or an eagle hitch for it, I think is what he wants to do. Can't remember if we talked about that or a ripper. But, I think he'd prefer the 3-point, that way it's more universal, and you can run 3-point stuff on an eagle hitch, but it's not ideal. It works, but it's kind of like running 3-point stuff on an Oliver traction booster hitch. It works, but it's not perfect. So, I believe that gets y'all caught up as to where she's at right now. He's been working on it while he's got time. And this time of year, there's not a whole lot of time because this is when farmers are breaking crap and coming in and having them fix stuff. So he's kind of become not only the hydraulic guy, but the local blacksmith. So, trying to think if anything else has been done. He's flushed the final drives with diesel, refilled them. Transmission oil, or the oil's been changed in the transmission and differential. I don't think he's got much else done back here. Well, there wasn't really a whole lot to do back here. The big thing will be hopefully we end up getting it all together and it actually steers and stuff, because supposedly one of the steering clutches was supposedly getting, well, it's not steering clutches, one of the steering brakes, this doesn't have clutches, supposedly one of them was getting weak, but that could have just been due to like her poor adjustment, lack of maintenance, because you pull back on the levers, yeah, this guy right here's got a little bit more throw to it than this guy. And they are about out of adjustment. So, but it's kind of one of them deals. We knew the transmission was gonna have to come apart at some point anyhow. But at this point, Dad just wants to get it running and driving again so we can play with it. So, figure out all the other isms and then tear it all back apart. And when he takes it apart all the way, that's when he's gonna go through and repaint the whole thing. Is this plan? So, I think this is all. Yeah, this is all parts for this. New shift boot. What are those? Cap, whatever that means. Yeah, this is all Dozer parts. So that should get you up to speed on where this is at. Hopefully that answers. Like I say, there's been one or two or three people that have asked about this, so I figure we'll get you caught up on it. So, but tomorrow we should be back to working ground, and hopefully. I got a 3-day weekend, hopefully between Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Well, we got supposedly good weather all this coming week. They keep taking rain in and out of Tuesday. But hopefully if we don't get any more rain this week, by the end of the week we're done planting corn, and hopefully next weekend finish up on the muck. And then we gotta start thinking about hay. So, but that will be where we head tomorrow. So that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.